Hi, and welcome to Feedstuffs 365. I'm Sarah Muirhead. Joining us today is Alex Buentello, founder and president of Ichthus Unlimited. Ichthus Unlimited is a company that's aiming to resolve the bottleneck issues for the aquaculture industry and provide solutions for its sustainability and permanence. Um, Welcome, Alex. Thanks for being here with us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So one of the key R&D focuses of your company is to develop soy-based, specifically soy hull animal feed binders to replace some of the alternatives that are out there. So why don't you, I'm going to have you walk us through what exactly is you're looking to do.
Well, we are looking to add value to something that is presently either sold for very little or flat out discarded. And we think because of the current push for increased production of oils, this is going to be particularly relevant for the soy industry.
So one of your stated objectives, of course, is resolving that bottleneck issues that exist for the aqua industry. When you say resolving the bottleneck issues, what do you mean by that?
It's actually using science and innovation to remove limitations that presently limit the full aquaculture potential. For example, the industry relies heavily on the use of chemotherapeutic treatments to resolve disease problems. Instead of doing that, we use nutritional interventions to increase the immunity of the fish and empowering their natural ability to fight a pathogenic insult.
So how then does that influence sustainability and permanence of the aquaculture industry?
So what we do is we take a deeper look into the present practices and we address sustainability issues and provide practical solutions to have that permanence that the industry can rely on and make investment free of risk. For example, tuna farming is arguably the more profitable form of aquaculture there is. But today, the bottleneck issues that they deal with is the reliance on wild capture fish for stocking net pens and also the use of bait fish to feed tuna. So these two practices, although the industry is working well and is profitable, should be discontinued because it's impractical, is unsustainable, and pose serious ecological risks. And they are not scalable either. So the solutions that we provide to resolve these issues are using hatchery juveniles to stock net pens, and we have the only diet for tuna that has been proven to provide suitable nutrition long term for adult fish.
And there just really haven't been other alternatives out there, and that's why they continue to do what they're doing.
Correct, and or it's like resistant to change, right? It's the the issue that they are profitable as it is, but as the human population continues to increase, we need to be more responsible, and also the decision making of the buyers is shifting. In the old days, it used to be all about price and flavor, and now it has more to do with environmental responsibility, good nutritional aspects for the human being, and so on and so forth. So we need to be aware of that.
So explain to us how your soy hull-based animal feed binders work and the benefits of those binders versus the alternatives.
So the soy bean binders can be used to agglutinate or to glue together the nutritive ingredients in a diet. The binders are presently available, are very expensive, but they are necessary in order to reduce waste. For instance, in the fines that are formed when you move a diet around, and also to maintain integrity of the feed as they are fed. For instance, for aquatic animals, take a shrimp that is a slow eater, it's important to have that stability in the water. Um, in contrast, because the main raw material for the soybean binders is soy hulls, and these are very inexpensive currently, it's a byproduct of the crushing plant. So we can mass produce binders at a much more competitive price and delivering equal or better performance. And this add a new revenue stream to the soybean industry, also adding value to something that is either discarded or sold for very little.
So, Ichthus is part of one of the 4 finalists in the Soy Innovation Challenge. We caught up with you down in Orlando and did a quick interview with you on the product. But talk to us where you are in the development and in the commercialization of your soy-based animal feed binders. And what markets are you targeting with those binders?
Well, we have conducted preliminary research and are collaborating with Auburn University in this regard, testing binders with shrimp. We are very much at the R&D phase, but the efficiencies that we've been able to identify, for instance, in the recovery of the soybean hulls versus the binder is upwards 90%. The preliminary costs are also very promising, so we think that we have a winner here. And as for the markets that we're seeking to target, uh, normally our company focus on aquatic animals. So the targets that we have are major aqua feed manufacturers. But the reality is that this technology has entry in all animal feeds that use pelletized feed. And this includes poultry, swine, horses, beef and dairy cattle, and kibbles as well for pet animals, dogs and cats, which are major potential markets.
And when you talk markets, you're probably talking, and maybe not initially, but broader than just the North American or US market, right? You're probably talking a global market with a product like this.
Correct. This has an application globally, not only domestically. And we aim to start here because this has many practicalities that we can exploit. But we also are in contact with major feed manufacturers, not only in aqua but other fields as well.
So are there any, since we're talking, something that influences, it's a feed kind of product, any nutritional digestibility, any kind of those related issues that users would need to be aware of when they use these binders? Anything they have to take into account or factor in?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, and we are I don't know, very experienced in dealing with all components of soy. So we know what we need to look for, complex oligosaccharides, things like that. Before going to market, we're going to make sure that these complex carbohydrates present in soy are not an issue to strictly carnivorous species. But my sense is that due to the low inclusion levels that binders are usually utilize, for instance, a 1-2% of the diet, and also the changes in functionality that we incur in changing the hull to a binder. In my mind, these are not going to be major issues, but they need to be fully vetted. We also need to evaluate taste, again, because of the low quantities and other flavor components that we utilize. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but it'll be fully vetted before going commercial.
Have you worked with, say, industry partners to validate the binder's performance at this
No,
point?
the commercial validation will take place after the R&D phase. We already have a well delineated plan to execute. We are in collaboration, as I said, with Auburn University. But we're going to be starting collaboration with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to test aquafeeds, with the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign for dogs and cats. We also going to collaborate with Cornell and Texas A&M for both dairy and beef cattle. And this is going to involve fine-tuning the manufacturing process, testing with shrimp, finfish, dogs, cats, and ruminants. And after that phase is conducted, we are now ready for commercial validation, and we'll approach entities such as Mars, Purina, Tyson, and fish farmers to test in various finfish species.
So we've talked livestock, we've talked pets, we've talked aquaculture. What about the soy industry? As I mentioned, your product is part of the Soy Innovation Challenge, a finalist. What might this development mean for the soy industry? What does it mean for, say, soy processing, soy byproducts? How is that all going to influence or impact the soy industry in any way?
Well, this is where the numbers become really staggering. We think that the value proposition that this project brings to the oil industry can be as much as 50 or 60% increase in the current value production of soybeans. For instance, the 2020-21 marketing year was about 45, a little over $45 billion for the soybean industry. We think the binders can address around 28 billion to that. So it's a significant. As I said, this industry or this technology has entry with all the animal species that consume pelletized feed. And among animal feeds, the pellet segment is forecasted to grow the faster in coming years.
Interesting. So then where can folks go to find out, to learn more about Ichthus, or to just follow along on where you're at in your development and commercialization phase? Is there a website, or what would you recommend?
Yeah, we have a website, and it's www.ichthusunlimited.com. And at the food page, you also can access social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. And we constantly post things like what happened in Orlando and elsewhere.
Very good. And we'll probably catch up with you later too to see where you're at on things. So always neat to see exciting things come to the market. So any closing comments you would like to leave our viewers with today, Alex?
Well, this is something that we briefly touched in Orlando, but in my mind, it's extremely relevant to point out to the audience that there's currently a push, a very significant push to increase the biofuel, soy oil for biofuels production and jet fuel. And this has to do with environmental considerations, but also geopolitical considerations. We are trying to win away the dependence on Russian oil. So this increase in oil production is naturally going to come together with an increased production of soy hulls, which we can convert into a value-added component, and also an increased production of soy protein. And we can consume this protein in our tuna dives. And this is a sizable and untapped market. So I think that there's an excellent fit between the soy industry goals and our company goals for this project. This is a great alignment of interest, if you want to put it that way.
Oh, that's very interesting in terms of having more and more, and what are we going to do with it? And you found a use. So best of luck to you in your development of this product. Our thanks to you as well for your time today. Thank you all for joining us here. We appreciate your time and attention as well. A reminder that all Feedstuffs 365 sessions are available on demand at any time on feedstuffs365.com. Until next time, for Feedstuffs 365, I'm Sarah Muirhead.